keeping away from Young Knives in Studio SL3. Hello, guys.
Yeah, thank God.
Hello.
Hello.
I know, yeah. Well, you see, restraining orders do work. I mean, we're trying to pass this off as me being considerate because I've got a bit of the lurgy. But as we know, you just couldn't bear to be in the room with me. And
I just thought you didn't want to see us.
No, mate, no. Far from the truth. So before we get stuck into everything else, Henry, would you like to introduce your bandmates, please?
If I can remember all their names. Yeah, so the House of Lords is on bass, and my brother Thomas Dartnell is on bass and keyboards. Max Blanchard is on piano for a song with us, and Mickey Monaghan Sticks is on the drums behind the glass.
Fabulous, okay. And so your new album is called Landfill. Is that kind of a knowing wink to the you having a word about the old indie landfill kind of scenario that was thrown around a few years ago?
We liked it because it worked on two levels, because it had that, and it was also about the transience of everything, you know.
Right, that's a sweeping statement, that, the transient of everything.
All things, yeah. All things pass, yeah.
Well, we have only got a few minutes to have a chat, really,
Yeah.
So do you not want to go much further into that?
I think that's probably about enough, don't you?
Right, okay. Well, from what I can gather, it's a philosophical outlook. And would you say that you've become more pragmatic as time goes by in relation to being an artist, a musician? Because it is getting harder and harder to do it, isn't it?
I will disagree with your first statement. It's not just a philosophy. It's the truth, right?
Okay.
It all passes. No, I think we've just... what, have we mellowed? No.
You haven't. You certainly haven't mellowed.
No.
You-
Pragmatic? How do you mean? Practical?
Well, like you kind of looking at it and thinking, right, okay, what can a band do these days?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's very difficult to make this business module work. Going out on the road, you know, most bands are struggling these days, aren't they? And people don't buy records, as we know.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of sort of the world is, we get sort of a negative bias about kind of the music industry. But the good thing is that the music industry doesn't really exist. It's just a concept that people have come together and made up. So
Now, that's philosophical.
So it's okay, you can do it whatever. Well, you can do it. It just means if you sort of think of it that way, then you can sort of be free about how you do it, I guess. And we've decided not to kind of like do that thing where you look at other acts and think, oh, why am I not on that stage, or why am I not, you know. I've given up a lot of those things just because it's a lot nicer if you don't even have those thoughts anymore and you just do it the way you feel like doing. I'm not speaking for everybody else in the room, but it's a sort of a symptom of thinking about it slightly different, yeah.
Okay, because it does come. It is full circle, really, in a way, because it's not giving up, because you're still making great music, perhaps the best music you've ever made, and it is getting darker. It isn't getting more simplistic and lighter. But yeah, there's no point in kind of like getting yourself in knots. If you want to do it, you've got to do it, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think it has freed us up to just decide, you know, if we want to make a record that's got a whole bunch of different styles on it, we should just do it. There's no right or wrong way. So I think it has helped free the creative spirit in us a little bit to just go for whatever we want. I think we've always been like that anyway, but even more so now, maybe.
Free your mind and your ass will follow.
Baby.
Definitely, baby. And so you also decided to give the album away free to your fans, didn't you?
Yeah, it's sort of a ploy to get people on our mailing list. No, it wasn't, I'm joking. Yeah, we did, because I think everyone listens to it for free anyway, and we wanted to give people a treat who, I don't know, it just felt like a nice to drip feed it to people so that they could spend time with one song at a time, and, I don't know, make it kind of special for the listeners.
Okay, and I know that you tell me the recording took place in a difficult time for you, Henry, at least.
Yeah, we were sort of in the middle of getting evicted from our house/studio of 20 years and realising that being a musician in one of the most expensive parts of the country was a bit hairy. We were getting cheap rent for years on our space. So, yeah, we were sort of thrown into disarray and weren't quite sure what was going to happen. But also it fueled a lot of what we were writing about. And, you know, you have to think about these things in a different way. Otherwise you'll have a heart attack or, you know, something worse. You know, it's too stressful. So you have to kind of think it's got to be for a reason, really. And there's always going to be positives with everything, that any situation you're finding yourself like that. So that's where a lot of the ideas from the album came from.
So, just listening to the way that you're talking now, it must have been really liberating. Did you have a eureka moment where you just thought, oh, cobblers to it, I'm not going to get wound up about everything. I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do. Be a kind of a free spirit, if you want. I think you have to practice thinking like that because your neural pathways are a bit set. So it comes back. I think it still comes back, still think about those things and you can get upset about stuff, but it's having a sort of context that that maybe there is another way of thinking about it, and if you have that sort of mindset, the way that it comes back, it's like ever decreasing circles. Hopefully it gets less and less and less, and you get more and more positive as you give up those old sort of thinking models. I don't know, I better shut up now. Jesus. No.
House of Lords, say something funny. Make a raspberry
Tell us
noise.
a joke. Keep it clean. No, that's not happening. Okay, so just before we get further, there's a couple of things I want to say.
Yeah.
So you were originally called Simple Pastoral Existence, weren't you?
We were.
That was the name, yeah.
And so I can't imagine for a moment that you ever thought you'd be troubling the charts with that name. So what was the concept behind that?
I don't think we ever thought we were going to be troubling the charts, full stop. I mean, someone said it to me once about like the ideal of living out and being self-sufficient, and that phrase, I thought, that's brilliant. And we always shortened it to SPE, so that was our name at the time, which is a bit catchier.
Right.
Not much.
Not much.
No, not much, but a bit. Okay, so now you've gathered, I'm not quite so well. I've got a bit of a cough and that, but I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. But you've been through the same thing, Henry, and you've incorporated audience participation in the live shows. I have had a bit of a hoarse week. I did get a cold just before we started, and I was even thinking maybe today wouldn't happen because yesterday morning I woke up and I almost couldn't speak. But again, got to have the faith.
Just look at him now.
You got to have the faith.
Yay!
And we got a load of people because I couldn't do the high bits, and there's a lot of high bits. There's a bit of falsetto in our set, so we just got the audience involved, got up and doing. And to be honest, they were some of the most fun gigs we've had in a long time.
They were good. It was a bit of a karaoke kind of thing going on, but
I think
people enjoyed that more.
Exactly. They had a lot of fun, get other people getting up on stage. But that is what is part, you can't do a show without other people in the room because otherwise it would just be a rehearsal. So it was nice to get it even more, break down them barriers.
Oh, yeah. And I do remember David Bowie once said that when he forgets the words, obviously Bowie just being a superstar, most of the people in the room would know most of the lyrics to a lot of the songs. But he said that if he used to lose his way sometimes, he would just have a look at the people in the front row who are obviously the hardcore, who'd be singing all the songs, and he'd kind of like keep up by lip reading.
Nice.
Which, that's a tip for the future as well, mate. Okay, so you are playing tomorrow night. You're playing in Birmingham at the Hare and Hounds.
Yep.
Wednesday would be the Deaf Institute in Manchester. I would be there with bells on, but I'm in here. Thursday, you're playing the Future Yard in Birkenhead. And then also, where else are you playing? You are playing the Brudenell on Friday, and then the Hug and Pint on Saturday. They're the dates I've got in front of me. Is that everything?
Correct.
That's a lot, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks so much for coming in. And it's obviously been a bit touch and go for you, but you're here and sounded amazing already. You're going to do 3 songs in a row now, a mini gig, as we call it. So what are you going to do in what order?
Back to back. Yeah, this we're going to do Dissolution first with Max Blanchard on piano, and then we're going to do Cause and Effect, and then we're going to do the song called Your Car Has Arrived. No, I did remember it. I was just pausing to give dramatic effect.
Wow.
Your Car Has Arrived.
You're good. Okay, Young Knives live in session. Thank you.